This is a hard one right here. All right, let's do this. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and a new video from me. My name is TinaSarafina, and if you are new to this channel, I used to live in Stockholm, Sweden, and last year I moved to the Midwest in the USA because I met an American man and we got married. And due to circumstances of the world, due to how government processed their immigration laws, I ended up being the one packing up all my stuff and moving halfway across the world. Initially, he was supposed to move to me in Sweden, but again, due to how the world was and how the government immigration processes were, that is not what happened. So as a result, at age 29, I left my first big girl job in the corporate finance industry to practically become an unemployed immigrant in the USA. You know, those people that you build a wall for? Oops, let me not get messy here because I still haven't got my green card. But yeah, in practice, you could call me an immigrant or a child-free housewife, whatever you feel like. Anyway, since moving to the Midwest 6 months ago, I have now turned 30. Yay! I have a video of that if you want to see my birthday vlog. And I have no career to speak of, which has been hard at certain points of this move because everyone or society says, or at least indicates, that at a certain age, you should have, be a couple of years into a stable career. You should have a good foundation of basic skill sets. You should have a lot of connections. You should maybe have a house, have some money saved up. If you're a woman, you should start having kids by this age. On top of that, it is extra good if you have had lots of fun, exciting experiences in your 20s, i.e. traveled, lived abroad, met new people, volunteered, etc., etc. Personally, I've actually experienced a lot of those things on that list. I've traveled, I've lived abroad, I've met so many cool people, made really good connections. Till this day, I still have these connections. I've met a wonderful man who is now my husband. We own a home together. The only thing I'm missing on that list, I believe, is kids and a set career, which that combination in USA is even harder. I mean, it's hard all over the world, but I'm just thinking like starting over in US, and I've hit 30 and I'm probably going to start a family soon. I don't know how this equation is going to fit, but I'm going to get into that later in the video. Right now, I want to touch upon the societal pressures of having a good job by the time you're 30 and how it mentally affects you if you don't have that. As mentioned earlier, I'm a good 6 months into this new move and into this new reality of not having a job. So I'm a little bit more relaxed now, but it's not too long ago where I was kind of having an existential crisis about what I was doing and my place in the world. Thinking back at it now, it feels so weird that I placed so much importance and validation of myself onto a job where I literally go to somebody else's company to sell my hours in order to get a salary so I can live and eat. I now recognize how much that job, or just like a good job in general, was something I used as a receipt of saying,
hey, look at me, I'm worthy, I'm a productive member of society.
And it's kind of effed up that the world is rigged up that way. Like a lot of people growing up, I was told to work hard, study hard so that I could get into a good university and eventually get a good job so I had enough money to support myself and be a stable person. And I did all of that and I don't regret it at all, because growing up and seeing my mom struggle with low-paying jobs, I was like, that is not gonna be me. I am going to get some type of prestigious job. I'm going to get these grades and get myself out of this situation. So I really never needed that much push from my parents or society to work hard, because I just needed to use my own eyes and be like, yep, I don't want to be around this. And I understand the toxicity and the classism of all of that. But the way my mom was hammering into my head,
you don't want to wipe booties.
That's like all I was thinking about. I was like, I'm not wiping booties, I'm gonna get a prestigious job. Anyway, I started working and slowly work became the thing that validated me. Having a good career, having a good job was the receipt to tell me and show others how valuable I was, how good I was, how competent I was. Therefore, when I had to leave the job, it was so much anxiety filled within me because I had absorbed so much of this job into myself that I had started identifying with it. So when I don't have it, who am I? What am I all about? What am I producing? How am I contributing? The worst thing is that my colleagues and my boss loved me, and I loved my boss. Till this day, we still talk. I can probably say that she's the best boss I've ever had. So leaving all of that was definitely a hit to my self-esteem. So coming to the USA as a very young professional who just left their first big girl job, I was thinking, how is my future in the USA going to be? In Sweden, I was in the beginning of my career, so I had 1 year of traineeship and then 1.5 years in an actual position. Now I've had a 6-month gap of doing practically nothing. I mean, I've been doing YouTube and my Etsy shop, but I would never put YouTube on my resume applying for a corporate job. By the time I get my green card, there will definitely be like a year gap, maybe even more than that. So it feels like I'm going to have to start over again. I'm going to be so far behind my peers, and I'm going to look at everybody getting, promotions, raises, and my income level is going to start as the time when I was 27. That is annoying to me. Also because I was so fresh in my career, it was just like, okay, what are my skills? I know that I'm good at communicating. I know I'm good at organizing, cooperating. I'm really good at problem solving, but those feels like still general things. So that makes me a little bit nervous on how's it gonna go when I actually do get to apply to corporate job. Will I be able to compete? Will my experiences in Sweden work for me or against me? So the next thing I wanna touch on is family and career at 30. So I just turned 30, yay! I'm actually very excited about it. I don't know, I had a wonderful birthday. You should check my birthday vlog if you haven't seen it. So I feel very comfortable with the age I'm at right now. However, I also know that I want to start a healthy family at some point. And as I am 30, I should probably start sooner rather than later. But there's just so many timing issues to also think about. So for example, at my old work in Sweden, there was a woman who was like 5 months pregnant and she got promoted to manager, and she basically worked the last 4 months of her pregnancy and went on parental leave for a good year. And when she came back, she had that manager job waiting for her. And I remember when she told me this story, because I really used her a lot as a mentor, because she was the youngest manager in our team. I remember being so impressed that our employer invested in a pregnant woman who clearly is going to go on maternity leave. And if it's in Sweden, it's usually at least a year. So what if your biology is that you're carrying a child and you're going to be gone for a while? We're still investing in you. I just don't think they would do that in USA. So that's why it's just like, I'm in this age when this is the time when all of these things are happening, and I kind of have to choose one or the other, it feels like. Another thing that I want to talk about is how the world or how society encourages this idea of you having a good career after a certain age, and how important it is that you are productive and working and have that job. The first thing people usually ask you when you meet new people is, what do you do? Where do you work? Basically, how do you get your paycheck? And with whatever profession you answer, you know that they're kind of measuring you on how important you are, how prestigious you are. If you would reply doctor or professor, their eyes instantly flash up in awe and they're impressed and you have immediate respect. However, if you reply waiter or customer service representative, it's not that much of a reaction. It's just like, okay. I'm not gonna lie, whenever I met a new person and they said that they were a doctor, I was impressed. So I'm definitely not immune, especially with my African upbringing, where you're either a doctor, lawyer, engineer, all of those things. So that is what you're trained to be impressed by. I even remember when it came up that I was working in the UN, I did see instant change in people's faces. I literally watched myself grow 5 inches in the person's eyes looking at me. Part of me felt a little bit uncomfortable. Just a job in a certain organization made people completely have another type of demeanor towards me. But another part of me, my ego, felt like, oh my God, my hard work paid off. This is the respect I get because of this receipt, this job. So the world definitely reinforced that belief that if you have a certain career or a certain job, or you work in a certain organization, you become more important, more prestigious, and more respected. So absolutely, our reaction, society's reaction to what it means to have an important job really fuels that urge that a lot of people have to work hard, be super productive to reach a certain level. I'm not going to lie, the career I had started, the job that I had, was at times stressful. It was very hard. I pushed myself to work extra hours even though I never clocked them. I pushed myself to do extra assignments, extra work, because I suffer from something called good girl syndrome. According to Google, characteristics of good girl syndromes are fear of disappointing others, fear of speaking out for fear of hurting others, must always excel, avoid conflict, obey rules, and also finds it difficult to refuse. That paragraph is me in a nutshell. Always wanting to please, always wanting to do a good job, hate to say no, and that has been detrimental to me in so many ways. But I am sure that if I would have done as much as I was doing for a couple more years, I'd probably get burnt out down the road. Abby was actually the one to remind me of how every day after work, we would talk on the phone because we were in a long distance relationship. And I would always complain about how I needed a break, how I was every other day considering to change a field to biology, IT, like anything from what I was actually doing at that present time. But as soon as I left the job, as soon as I left that career, I was super upset of not having it anymore. So when I was working, I was fantasizing about, oh, if I had more free time, I would put more time into my hobbies. I would do YouTube more. I would do Etsy more. I could focus on those things. And now that I don't have a job, I'm like romanticizing the career aspect of my life. Where would I be right now if I was still working there? At what position could I have excelled to? What salary would I have? Like seriously, totally romanticizing the idea of having a career in corporate finance again and basically wanting what I don't have. So seeing that I tend to want whatever I don't have at the present moment, I think a big part of my issues have been my mentality around work and how I tie a lot of my self-esteem and my identity to the career that I have. One thing that I've learned in my 30 years of living is that whatever job you have, whatever field you go into, after a while, it is going to be work, and work is tiring at times. A job will eventually become stressful and hard, and you will complain about it. So the key is maybe not to find your dream career or your dream job, but to shift your mindset to simply see a job as a tool to get the money so that you can live a life that you love. I think that seeing a job or a career as an extension of yourself, an extension of your personality, is a very easy way to get depressed, because there are going to be ups and downs, variables that you can't control about work. So when that happens and you tie it so much to your identity, your self-esteem is just going to be in the basement. Trying to make a job into something that you love maybe is a trap. Maybe it's enough to have good coworkers, good boss that recognize your work and a decent salary, and leave it at that. When you think of jobs in that way, it's easier, I think, to not be depressed when you hit 30 and you don't have a set career yet, because the career won't define you. The life that you live will define you. My birthday last week really emphasized that to me, because I had so many people in my life back in Sweden, in Tanzania, and new people that I met here show me so much love and appreciation on my day. And today, I feel pretty okay with the fact that I don't have a set career yet. I will just try to live in the moment, live in the present, and focus on spending time with my husband, being involved in my community, decorating my new house, planning for my wedding party this summer, because before I know it, that green card will arrive in my mailbox, and all of a sudden, I will have to go out and start looking for a job again, and I will start reminiscing back to this time that I have right now where I can do whatever I want to. So sitting here and being depressed over the fact that I don't have a set career yet is just wasting my time, when I know further down the line, when I'll find some type of job, I'll be looking back at this and was like, why didn't I use this time to do all of these things that I truly love? So I'm basically trying to live in the present and enjoy what I have right now. Anyway, guys, that was my thoughts on this topic. What do you think about being 30 and not having a set career yet? Do you tie a lot of your self-esteem to your career? Do you think society pressures us too much to have all things figured out by a certain age? How did you juggle family and work if you decided to go down that road? I'm really curious to hear about your thoughts, so please share in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!